Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Respawning podcast. We haven't quite settled on the name yet because we're too lazy, but we promise we will eventually. In this podcast, we're here to talk about and fanboy out all over the things that are nerdy. This week, I'm joined by the Pakistani prince, Salman, the seductive Spaniard, Javier, and the English idiot, Joe. And I'm your host, Luke. Now let's chat shit. Right, so let's kick off with... Should we just kick off with the basics of what we've been playing for the past week or so? I guess we can say like longer than a week if we need to, because it is the second ever episode 1.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, feel free.
Sure.
So I'm still playing Red Dead, and I'm still really enjoying it, but I'm finding it slow, like a lot of people have. So I'm still on chapter 4.
It drags from about halfway, doesn't it?
Yeah, like you get to the point where you've got money and you don't have to struggle anymore, and then it just kind of gets a bit not boring, but it's weird. It's one of those games that I could play forever, but also don't want to play all the time.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it wanted to be a Western simulator the whole way through until it didn't want to be that anymore, and you were rich and never had to worry about money, and you could buy all the guns and roam around and still not have a fast travel system except for like the stupid
map thing.
Yeah, and the stagecoaches.
Yeah. I have completely dropped it. I'll admit, I have completely dropped Red Dead Redemption 2. I got to, I think, around chapter 3, and I just got bored of it, if I'm honest. There's a lot to do in the game, and there's a lot of variety, and there's the environments are beautiful, the hunting is amazing, but I don't know why it feels like it lacks that sort of core gameplay cycle that Red Dead 1 had in terms of like keeping you invested, keeping you interested, and keeping you going.
So me and Salmon have kind of discussed it in length that I'm of the opinion that it could have done with being a lot more gamey.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot less not gamey. I don't want to stare at the backside of my horse for 3 hours to get to the next mission.
Yeah.
You know how in Red Dead 1, there was like the whole scene where, okay, you want this one thing, this one achievement, right? Kill 12 deer, right? Killing 12 deer will probably take you like, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
In Red Dead 2, it's like, okay, you need to do this thing, you need to kill like 1 deer, but that'll also take you 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And because it's fun, you feel like you're accomplishing a lot less. And though I freaking love that, I understand why people get really annoyed by it.
It's
like,
just...
I love the hunting in Red Dead 1 just basically for its simplicity. I mean, I loved raking up loads of money, killing loads of bears and cougars and stuff like that, and just taking those spoils back to Blackwater or wherever, and just cashing in that money. But in Red Dead 2, because of the sake of realism and immersion and simulation, there's a lot of limitations based off of, well, how much can my horse carry? I can only carry maybe 2 snakes and a deer. I can't carry this many pelts. And then when you get back, it's like you've got to negotiate the rates, and you're getting shit all money for your time, basically.
Yeah.
And combine that with some of the extraordinary prices, especially early game, for some of the weapons and items. It's just, you don't feel like you're making a lot of progress quickly.
That sort of that kind of flips when you get to around where Javier is. It sort of just, they kind of abandon, because I get it. I liked the bit, to be honest. I'm on the sort of the flip side of that, in that I liked when they were making you work for the money so you could buy the guns, and you were this struggling gang that had to sort of struggle to get by and get food, which is why you were like being a gang in the first place. Get to about where Javier is, and it's kind of like, right, now here's £10,000 for that mission you just did.
Here's some money, but then after that point, I was just like, well, now I just wanted to do story. I can't really bother to do the open world anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, it's perfectly fine, because at one point, like me and Luke can both agree that there's a certain point where you're like, okay, no, fuck this, story time, and then you rush through the entire game, and it's a blast, like going for the story.
It is till the epilogues, which, without saying too much of a spoiler, they're fucking slow. Like, they're drearily, dreadfully slow.
Worse than the prologue?
Yeah, way worse than the prologue.
Jeez.
And I won't say much about it, but
imagine if the prologue was like 2 chapters.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, it took me about 12 hours to do just the epilogue, because there's 2 chapters of it.
Yeah, I'm glad I dropped it then.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic game, and it's an absolute technical marvel of a game.
Definitely.
it's just missing something that makes it gamey for me.
It's just,
Yeah.
I think it's just not enough of a video game.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
It's that step that where we've all wanted games to go, where they're like hyper realistic, but it's too much, and it is still really fun. Like I said, like I will complete it. I will probably play it for hours and hours more. But when I come to think about I'm gonna say I've got 2 hours free, I'm going for bloody like Spyro the Dragon at the moment over Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That
think it
that
could
says
be-
a lot.
I think it can be summed up simply as this: in trying to make games as immersive and realistic as possible.
Have we
you
gone
also
too
get-
far?
Oh yeah, well, you get bogged down with all the stuff that makes real life boring. So
One of my favourite memories about the original Red Dead Redemption was literally I ran into town, tied someone up, threw them on a train track, and got an achievement for it. And there's none of that in Redemption 2, really. There's some weird characters, and I remember there was some like gravedigger that used to eat corpses in the first one.
yeah, Seth. If I
Yeah,
remember
like
correctly.
you're not going to get that kind of thing in Red Dead Redemption 2, which is fine. But those people like me that went into it hoping it would be a Western Grand Theft Auto again,
Yeah.
and not a realistic Western, have been left a bit disappointed, to be honest.
So, like,
Yeah.
if you guys have seen The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, I could say that Red Dead 1 is like that movie,
Yeah.
while Red Dead 2 is more of like a serious Western, because Red Dead 1 has all these oddball, like, fucking freak show characters, while Red Dead 2 is like, no, we gotta tone it down a bit.
Yeah.
Which is alright, but, I wish there was a lot more, like, crazy characters like Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
guess
you
that
get
makes
you get
question as
Dutch,
well,
who
like-
is without a doubt one of the best characters in video game history. Like, I
Who's sorry?
absolutely Dutch. I adore
Oh yeah, he's cool.
Dutch,
Oh, Dutch is awesome.
and he's got
I
he's
just
got a
love- I
plan
love
to get us
Arthur.
rich.
I love Arthur as a main character. He's exactly who I want from a cowboy. I think he's
Yeah.
really, really cool. Like, if you want to be a badass, he kind of acknowledges it, and he says to people like, I'm not the sort of person you wanna trust and like ask to do a job. Like I'm not a nice guy, and I like playing that character. Like, I've played it with as much kind of evil as possible, as it were.
Yeah.
Like dishonor, and I've enjoyed it. But yeah, it's definitely. Don't know.
I didn't see a reason. Because I didn't play much of it, but I didn't see much of a reason to play it dishonorably. Because when you play it honorably, it got to a point where people were buying me stuff in towns, shop prices were going down, but I didn't see any perks from the dishonorable side. Like, I didn't get people fearing me, so they tried to like. Yeah, I don't really. That's what I don't get. Like, you can't put a morality system in and then not put perks for both sides. It's supposed to be like a toss up of either side,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I saw no desire to bother because there was nothing in it for me. I guess I was playing it too much of like what's in it for me rather than just playing it for fun and being a badass gangster, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it raises a question as well, is that with the transition between Red Dead 1 and Red Dead 2, obviously going from a less serious Western to a more serious Western, do you think they'll do the same with Grand Theft Auto, going from 5 to 6? Do you
Nah,
think
'cause
they'll
they
keep it
did-
as a parody?
They did that from 4 to 5, didn't they? They did it like a flip. They kind of reversed it. They brought out 4, which
Yeah.
was super serious,
Yeah.
and everyone went, "Nah, fuck this. This is shit."
Yeah.
Then they brought out 5, and then we got Trevor.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
It's very true.
Yes.
Anyway, so I think it's funny how we've all got a very similar opinion. And on the back of that, I've also this week tried the online, and I think me and Luke feel a bit differently about it. But I played it a lot less. But I really I played it for about 4 hours, and I really, really liked it. I thought it's got the potential to be amazing.
So I played the online.
Yeah. It's kind of
And-
like it's like the fun parts of single player, but with 2 people. That's what I found.
Yeah, I guess, but like I only played it for like the first couple of missions, and like I was so off put by how ugly everything is in that character creator that I was just like, you know what, never mind.
Like no matter what, your character looks like an absolute like yokel.
Monster.
I think the main
To be
difference
fair-
between us is that I played the online on my own. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I put a solid sort of 8 hours into it in one sitting, and I felt like I barely made any progress. And then kind of, I took the disc out and I uninstalled the game, and Red Dead is upstairs in the cabinet where like the games go that I don't play anymore.
Oh really?
I'm like, I'm done. Unless they give me Undead Nightmare 2, I'm done with Red Dead. I'm just at that point where I cannot be asked.
So what have you been
Hopping
playing
back to the
Oh.
sorry, hopping back to the character creation topic anyway, with Red Dead 2 turning you off, Salmon. Couldn't the same be said with GTA 5? I mean, there are some pretty ugly characters in the character creator for GTA Online.
Yeah, but you got to
I don't
remember,
like
Salmon
GTA.
doesn't like GTA 5 anyway.
True.
Yeah.
all right, fair.
So instead of Red Dead Redemption, I have been absolutely sessioning Assassin's Creed Odyssey at the moment,
Oh yeah.
and that is a lot more of a game. Like I am a badass. I'm a really angry badass Greek man because they've turned it so you get sort of conversation choices, so you can say different things. You've got like a meter on how well your lie might be believed or disbelieved. It almost feels a bit like they've gone, "Ooh, we like The Witcher. Let's put that into Assassin's Creed." Like all the side quests are really involved, and they all open. I was doing a random side quest the other day, so you've got to track down these members of a cult that are out to get you and kill your entire family. So because they think you've got like the lineage of a god. Which, to be fair, my Alexios probably thinks the same thing because he's an overconfident, arrogant prick, and I love him. But yeah, he's doing that, and he's hunting down this cult. And I was doing a random quest where I had to help some farmer, and I was like, "What the hell is this random quest?" Turns out this farmer was a member of that cult, so I was like, kill him to death!" And like, I just did that, and I've been just roaming around Greece, sort of killing, firing, hiring, perspiring, really. Just absolutely sessioning it. Like it's one of those ones where it's about as big and with as much stuff to do as Red Dead, I think. Like I'm about 30 hours in, and I feel like I've barely touched the storyline. I've only killed maybe 1/3 of the total cult members. It's got a Shadow of War style mercenary system where you can do crimes, mercenaries hunt you down. If you kill those mercenaries that are like higher rank than you, then you go up through the ranking system. So like in Shadow of War, you could get like the orcs. Instead of that, they've taken away like the doing of the orcs, and they've done it so that you're climbing through those ranks instead.
Awesome.
And when you're like, it comes out as well where you'll be sort of sneaking into a base, and a mercenary will run up behind you and try and kill you because he wants to rank up through as well. So it's constantly like evolving. So it kind of makes you keep on your toes a little bit because you'll just see like a mercenary sprinting at you, and you're like, "Oh fuck's sake, this stealth is out of the window."
The missions aren't always like really straightforward like they have been in the past. Then
No, not at all. You get a lot more like free reign of what you can do with it as well. So you can just go. You literally can get a decent sword and just run in and parry everyone and kill everyone like in a base, if you want to, or you can sneak in and assassinate everyone and do it quietly. And they probably both take about the same amount of time to actually do. So
that's cool.
It's not like balanced one way. If you start to just run in and kill everyone, you're not going to get through the game any quicker than if you sneak around the base, like just stabbing people, because that'll be like the one hit KO sort of thing as well. And it's got the shit gameplay of Black Flag in it, and I am proper fanboy. I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fanboy as is. But this is the series highlight for me. This is absolute peak Assassin's Creed.
So, would you say that Odyssey is a decent place for a absolute series beginner like myself to try and get into the franchise?
I would say Origins is a good place to start, just because it starts a new like future story in Origins. So it basically like disregards anything that came before it in the terms of the future setting, and starts with a new character on that. And they kind of tie into each other, so you can sort of like Bayek on Origins is supposed to be the sort of like the father of the Assassin's Creed as we like know it. But this then tells a story of like how across the other side of the world in ancient Greece, these guys were being assassins like 500 years before Bayek had even known about them. And it kind of like leans into that really nicely. And best thing you can do is you can, the kicks from 300, you can Spartan kick people off of cliffs. And I shit you not, I just get people to follow me up to cliffs, and then I'm like, "This is Sparta!" I just boot them off cliffs, and they always die. Yeah, I've basically been absolutely sessioning that. Joe, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
Me, I've been tied between 2 games recently. So just before that, I've actually just gotten a PSVR unit as well from my partner Clarice, who got it for me as an early Christmas present. And I've been loving the ever-loving hell out of that. Going to be doing a little review on that soon. But in terms of games that I've been playing, 2 main games. So I've been playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, getting really stuck into that. Just
I
been
can't
sort
wait
of
to play
going through
that.
the world of. Sorry.
I can't wait to play that. It's literally
Oh, I know.
8 days and I've got it in my hands.
It is definitely worth the wait. And I mean, the last Smash game I played was the one on the Wii U, and I've gone completely rusty ever
Yeah.
since then. And I feel that the World of Light, despite its flaws and repetitive nature, it's really been a really good training tool to get
So I
back
don't really
into the
know
mechanics.
much about it. What's the World of Light?
So the World of Light is the single-player element on Smash Bros. Ultimate. So what it is it's a very light story mode where you traverse over a sort of overworld map with designated pathways. And you unlock characters from various franchises that Nintendo have picked up or collaborated with in the past. So some notable examples are things like Metal Gear. You can get these spirits, as they're called, which are basically like passive buffs that change what items you hold, what stats you have, etc. So with Metal Gear, you can get Snake as a main fighter. You can get, I think it's Grey Fox as well as a spirit. You can get the actual Metal Gears themselves as spirits, and
You
there's
can
lots
get
of
the
like little
boss.
references.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Sam?
it's just
You can fucking get the boss as a spirit.
Really?
yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
And
It's
like-
really fucking cool.
they're like personas for the, I guess,
Kinda.
uninitiated.
Kind
Right.
of, yeah. They give like stat boosts and stuff, I believe.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. And like Castlevania as well. I mean, I'm really been surprised by the amount of Castlevania content that's been in Smash Ultimate, even
Really?
from just Simon and Richter. I mean, they have one stage, but there's like over 30 soundtrack entries on the OST, and there's around about, I think, about 30 individual spirits from across the franchise,
Christ.
including some really like not known games from Castlevania's history, which have really been impressing me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's like 1,300-ish spirits in the game to collect,
Bloody
and it's
hell.
absolutely ridiculous, but it's very much worthwhile. Definitely.
So, if you don't unlock a character in the story mode,
hmm
does that mean you don't have that character online?
Basically, it sort of works 2 ways. So if you unlock a character, so a fighter, in World of Light, then you can use them in sort of Smash and online and that sort of thing.
Right.
You don't have to at all play World of Light to unlock every single character. You can do all the other modes and just gradually gain characters, basically, by challenging them.
Okay.
It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same fight. It's exact same difficulties. Just it's a different way of doing it, basically.
Because
Sort
that's
of
a pretty like retro way, old school way of like unlocking. I've got this in the part of the podcast, but it's might as well bring it up now. But I guess that's kind of a retro way of unlocking characters. Like the old Tekkens used to do that, like Tekken 3 and 4
Yeah,
backwards, didn't they? And but obviously with the advent of the online sort of competitive sphere, it's the question of whether, because I've seen a lot of things, other sort of game critics saying that that's quite a bad thing, but actual people have gone, no, we love it. Like if you want to unlock a certain character, you can just do it and push forward. You don't need to be sort of spoon-fed all the characters handed to you on a plate straight away. You can kind of go in and unlock them before you go into online.
Yeah. I mean, I have quite mixed opinions on it, if I'm honest. I mean, whilst I appreciate the whole challenger approaching format of Smash Ultimate, I do think if they had some way of sort of having a big unlock list and saying, right, you've qualified yourself for one unlock token to try your hand at trying to get a fighter.
Yeah.
Pick one from this whole list and you can go for whatever. That way people can go for their mains, they can go for new characters they want and just sort of mess around, or if someone wants, they can just go randomly, basically.
See, I've got a massive soft spot for the idea of like you have to get certain characters, you've got to jump through some hoops. Like one of my favorite things, I've said this before to Salmon, like one of my favorite things ever was unlocking Gon in Tekken.
Yeah.
And the amount of like hoops I had to jump through to do that. And if they did that to me again and they were like, oh yeah, there's all these extra Easter egg characters, but you've got to jump through X amount of hoops to do it, I'd love it, because like with Tekken 7, I was given all the characters straight out of the box. I've not touched the single player because I've got no need to. There's no need for me to go like into the single player and try out all these different characters to actually go through it. And I kind of feel like if you pushed forward and you were able to go, here's a list of characters. You get one chance. You can try and unlock one of these characters. People would like unlock their main characters, and then they wouldn't bother. A lot of people just wouldn't bother unlocking or trying other people out. And a good thing the other day I noticed was Joseph. He's been fanboying over certain characters in Smash Brothers, but then he had to play as like King. He had to play as King K. Rool to do something, and now that's his favorite character in Smash.
Yeah.
So it kind of like it leans into that idea of sort of trying out these new characters. Like I'm not going to ever try anyone apart from Jin Kazama on Tekken because I don't have to. I'd rather just play the one character and perfect him than try to do these other characters if there's no perks, no reason for me to do it.
That makes sense, definitely. And I feel that there is room for Smash to have been able to do that, especially with the arcade modes. I mean, the arcade modes have been one point that people have really liked in Smash Ultimate just because of how, I wouldn't say unique, but how referential they are.
Yeah.
So, for example, maybe Simon or Richter's arcade modes, when you eventually unlock, reference a lot of bosses in Castlevania. And it's sort of it's nice to see that sort of represented with the difficulty as well. It's just a shame that they didn't really tie it into anything.
Yeah.
So it's like they all have a big bad boss at the end, which is really difficult to beat, but you get nothing for beating them. So it's just a bit like it's a bit of a self.
I guess you just get like bragging rights.
Yeah.
But I can get
Seems like
Wolf.
not even
I
that.
can get like Wolf, right? Like not as in like the not Fox McCloud Wolf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't care then, as long as I can get Wolf. But this is what I mean. Like, if I was able to just go through a list and go, oh yeah, I can get Wolf, I'd just go get Wolf and then not bother playing anymore.
Yeah. And I think it's like really old. I like the old. It's so old school. That like you talk about Gone reminds me of Tekken 3, and I love that. And it also gives casual players like more reason to keep playing it. Like if I was to get a Switch, I would pick up Smash Bros. I haven't played one since GameCube, but I love the fact that I could just like play it, have a lot of reason to keep going back and unlock new characters. Not because I haven't got a main, I don't. I don't have one. It would give me, a casual player, a lot of reason to keep playing it.
Yeah, definitely. I get the impression that when I have got it next week, it's going to be really difficult to get you out of my house.
Yeah, that and Pokemon Let's Go. I'm never going to leave.
Yeah, you're just going to move into my house.
Oh,
Brilliant.
poor you.
So I forgot which game did this. No, wait. It was MKX. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember like specifically what it did, but they had like some thing where you could unlock all the content from the crypt
Yeah,
for like
yeah.
just a small
Like
payment.
for the coins with a K.
Yeah.
Yeah, coins with a K.
Coins.
I think they could.
Coins.
I think they could do that for Smash or any other fighting game. It was only if it was like a really small payment, because like $10 for stuff from the crypt is like, okay, geez, that's still a bit much. But all the characters are still unlocked except for like the villain. I forget his name because no one likes him.
What?
No, the other one, the white wizard man.
Shang Tsung?
Oh, I know. Oh, flip.
Oh, damn it, that's going to annoy me.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Carry on. I'll Google it.
Yeah, Google it.
But yeah, like he was the only one that you could unlock from beating the story, and I still had a lot of fun going through the story just to get him.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't really like him as a character that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think unlocking characters is still something that needs to be done, like because otherwise,
Shinnok.
yeah, Shinnok. There we go. So
But I think as long as it's not paid DLC, I'm happy how, as long as it's through gameplay,
yeah,
that makes me happy. It just fucking bugs me when it's like, oh, your favourite character's in this game, but you've got to pay another 15 quid for him. Or it's like, fuck off. What? I hate it.
Joker from Persona.
Yeah.
You got to pay for it.
Yes, you do.
Oh, no. Oh,
He is-
Joe, I'm
he-
so sorry. That's
As are 3 more characters that are yet to be unveiled.
And then there might be another battle pass.
Do you know if they're doing a season pass?
They have, yes, there is a Fighters Pass that you can purchase for Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I'll probably
It
just
does
buy
grant
that.
you access to every single Fighters pack that they're releasing, 1 through 4, I believe.
So
yeah.
what are we betting for the next 4 characters then? Does anyone have any bets on what those characters might be?
So- Not Doom Guy, no.
I reckon-
beat there, Salmon.
I reckon Alucard, maybe.
Maybe he's an assist trophy.
Yeah.
He might be out for the
Or
runnings.
Trevor.
Trevor's a good shout.
Because the
Trevor would
anime,
be a
the
good
anime
shout.
is like all over, is like everywhere at the moment.
That's true.
I'd like
Wouldn't mind Dracula.
Squall
Hmm.
because
Definitely.
they've got Cloud, but I feel like Squall with his fucking gunblade would be aces.
Yeah, there's 2 characters from Castlevania instantaneously in, and there's 1 still from Final Fantasy. So
If they
it's
bring
Yeah.
it
another
needs a bit of
Smash
representation.
character, it's gonna be Sora. Like they're
Yeah,
not gonna bring another Final Fantasy character. I feel.
definitely. I think Sora would open up a lot of possibilities to enter more Final Fantasy characters as assist trophies.
Yeah.
Because there are basically none, essentially, in Smash Bros.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
Sora's in it,
there's
I'm gonna have to literally go and buy it like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Harry just walks home with a Switch.
I'm so sorry, Hannah. It appears to fall into my bag.
But seriously,
I
for the
love
other
it.
character, I don't quite know. Part of me wants to say Toad just because of Toad representation's sake.
Hmm.
But isn't he an assist trophy?
True. I think he is an assist trophy. Yeah.
What about like all the ones that everyone's going on about missing, like Waluigi?
Oh, fucking Waluigi. Bowser.
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 No.
I was so on that
Sexy,
Waluigi
sexy
hype
Bowser.
until it got to the point where like fucking like Joker got announced and people are still pissed off that Waluigi isn't announced. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're making gaming history right now and you're still crying over like a joke character.
Yeah. If the whole thing with Kojima didn't happen, then I would probably be inclined to say Raiden might have a good shot,
Mm,
Good shot, yeah.
but Konami.
Okay, so
Yeah.
bear with me.
I reckon. So I've been reading a few rumors recently, and 5 of the main rumors that I've read that I reckon are actual shoe-ins almost, but could be like just absolute dog shit choices. But Paper Mario,
Okay.
Possibly.
because Nintendo just are constantly harping on about Paper Mario. People haven't liked it for years, but they still keep trying to put them out and get new people into it. Skull Kid from Majora's Mask, or if not Skull Kid, then Linkle from Hyrule Warriors, as in like Girl Link from
Possibly.
Hyrule Warriors, because that could just be like a mirror one.
An echo, yeah.
Now, here's the other one. And I'm only suggesting this one now because they obviously ported it over to the Switch, but Crash Bandicoot
Oh yeah. That's a good shout.
and Banjo-Kazooie.
Maybe.
Those
Maybe.
are some characters I'd quite like to see, I think.
So I think the characters that would get like at least for me the 2 characters there with me Sans
Yep.
from just because Undertale is so popular in Japan, and
Yeah.
just like I believe Toby Fox like went to like Japan to meet a bunch of developers and stuff like that, and including Nintendo.
That's true.
Doom Guy, just because he's had such a long history with Nintendo, and it would just be the best ever.
It would be
And
so
I
hype.
don't know why, but the third one just left my brain, so you're gonna have to make me wait on that.
It would be good. I think that I'd like those as well. I was kind of on the high horse the other day, as it were, telling Joe that no one from any game that's rated 18 plus will ever be in Smash Brothers. And then I was so foolishly proven wrong when Will just pipes up and goes, "What about Bayonetta?" And I was like, "Shut up,
What
Will!"
What about today?
Yeah, like, shut
Final
up,
Fight's
go
mature.
away. Yeah, it is mature, to be fair, but it shouldn't be because it's like weak sauce.
Oh, yeah, I remember the other character, Travis from No More Heroes.
I could see that.
Ah,
especially
yeah,
with
that would work.
Yeah, the new game.
That would tie into the new game, wouldn't it?
If he
Yeah,
showed up.
that would be quite cool. So yeah, anyway, Joe's playing Smash Brothers. Salmon, what are you playing to try and get it back on track a bit?
I have been playing nothing but Devil May Cry 4 and Fortnite.
You're still on those 2 games.
Still playing
Yep.
Fortnite.
Yeah, I still play Fortnite. Season 7, baby.
How is it?
It's pretty good, actually. So there's like some new updates happening. There's like some, like, you know how there was Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet and stuff like that?
Yeah.
There's like some like Lich King type sword in the middle of the map, and one player can get it, and it's super busted. Haven't gotten that yet, but looking forward to. Other than that, it's Fortnite. there's some new stuff. There's always UI changes every season.
Yeah,
Um,
for better or
and
worse.
now you have like weapon skins and stuff like that, which is pretty nice. And I think there's a couple more weapons, but whatever. One thing though is like the best addition to that entire season is now there's an airplane vehicle that you can drive, and half the time I'm like dogfighting with people throughout the entire match, and it's the best.
Huh.
But
Oh, that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, that stuff's really fun. Other than that, yeah, Fortnite's Fortnite. I'm still gonna be playing that. Devil May Cry 4. Dude, I don't know. I can't stop playing that game. I'm just so hyped for Devil May Cry 5.
You've always
Never
loved it though, haven't you? I mean, it's one of
Yeah.
my favorite games of all time, so I can understand why.
Is that
Yeah.
the one that's just called Devil May Cry?
Nah,
That's the bad one.
that's the
No, I like that one.
that's the best one. To be fair,
Yeah.
we're not getting into this because we haven't got 4 hours to get into this.
Sam, just out of interest, have you spent a lot of money on Fortnite?
No, so my friend spotted me like $10. Everyone spotted me these days. Like a shit. He spotted me like $10 to like get something like a DLC or something. I forget. So I had like a couple bucks left, and I bought like V-Bucks, like $2 worth of V-Bucks, which is like maybe like
All right.
500. The rest of the stuff I earned, and I got a battle pass, and then through the battle pass from season 6, I earned enough to buy another one. So now if I just keep at it, like I don't have to pay shit for anything.
So you just don't really have to
Yeah.
pay anything to it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
pretty
for
good.
those shop skins, which they're pretty good, but like they're too expensive. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah. No, I'll never have the money to like actually pay for skins like that because I just don't
Yeah.
care. I don't want to either, so I don't really mind.
It's that you passed that point, and I think Luke, we both learned our lesson from Simpsons Tapped Out that we don't want to spend money
Yeah.
on cosmetics.
Yeah, I'd say that, but I've spent a little bit of money on Pokemon Go, which is really heartbreaking now that I'm bored of it as well. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. I think when I run out of Pokeballs or whatever, and I'm like, and I'm sat at home and there's Pokemon around me, I'm like, I could. I've managed to avoid it so far.
I haven't, and the worst part is 79p for like 20 Pokeballs. You think that's quite a good deal, but Pokeballs don't get you very far.
No, they do not.
Like 20 Pokeballs, standard fair Pokeballs do not get you very far at all.
Where you're like, that could have been a chocolate bar.
Oh, it could have been. Like I did it 3 times in one day, and I was like, that's the Subway meal deal.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God damn. Yeah.
Right, so that's what we've been playing.
Yeah.
That's half the podcast.
That's half a podcast. Luckily, we got into the main, one of my main topics of unlocking Smash characters. So
yeah,
there's that bit.
That was a good tangent.
Yeah.
So Luke, I think you're the only one who's actually played Fallout 76 out of all of us. Obviously, it's been everywhere. It's been all over YouTube. Even in the bloody news. So, what the hell's happened?
It's a garbage fire. Like from start to finish, it's an absolute garbage fire. Like when you think of Fallout games, the main thing you think about is like story-driven, eccentric characters, like world building with these characters, unlocking finding new towns and new areas. Like one of my favorite bits in video game history is I was randomly walking across Fallout 3 and I came across a load of cannibals that just wanted to eat my face. And coming across that sort of character, that's what I think about Fallout. And I don't understand what Bethesda were thinking when they went, right, here's a Fallout game. There's no characters. There's only one area you can go in, and it hasn't got any characters in. And not only that, is you might be thinking that there'll be loads of people online that you can talk to and build the world that way. Well, you can have 40 in this like massive open world. It's like, oh my God, seriously, Bethesda, like.
And does 40 feel really empty considering the size of the map?
I've been in full size, like full to the brim servers, and I've only come across people 2 or 3 times sometimes. Like,
That's the problem.
it's just it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think the thing as well that gets me is the initial part of your sort of reception with Fallout 76. I remember it quite clearly. We set up a whole Facebook Messenger chat dedicated to hyping this game up, being really excited to it. And then we got, well, Luke, you got your hands on the game. You were really excited, really enjoying it, in fact, and trying to sell it to us guys.
I bought
And
the
then suddenly-
Tricentennial Edition.
Yeah, and then suddenly one day, it just went completely, and that enthusiasm just died.
Yeah. I've likened it to Conan Exiles before, where me and Javier were full on hype. We were going to play nothing but Conan for like 3 weeks. We were really into it. We were Googling like how to do these builds and how to build this stuff, and then we played it a lot in one day. I think I played it for about 20 hours in one session, and then I was like, yeah, it was a really good fun day. But once I turned the game off, I was like, I literally have no desire to ever play this again. And it's the same with Fallout. Like I was trying to get everyone to buy it because I thought maybe this game will be better if there's people online. Yeah, it turns out it's just a garbage fire. And Bethesda can't do multiplayer.
Especially amid modern controversies as well, especially with the recent supposed rumor that there might be loot box assets hidden within 76.
Yeah.
Did you see the
That's when the game isn't bad enough.
It gets worse.
Did you see about the fucking bags as well? So the canvas bags, they basically were like, if you pre-order the extra special edition, you'll get this cool Fallout 76 like canvas bag. Everyone was like, "Oh, that's really good," but it turns out that you actually get, you just get like this really crap,
the nylon bag,
like the nylon bag,
a swimming bag.
that someone had put like their lunchbox in and it ripped and things like that. And Bethesda were like, in true South Park style, were like, "We're sorry," and basically just like they handed out what are essentially the loot boxes that Joe was mentioning. But they handed out like $2 worth of loot boxes to everyone who was disappointed with the canvas bag, and everyone just went sort of like facepalm, thinking, Bethesda, what are you thinking? You were like for years you were top of your game, and no one could say enough nice things about you. Now, no one can say a nice thing about you.
It's bad, and I mean, me and Clarice, we had the Power Arm edition pre-ordered fully, and we were ready to pay right before. I think it was about 3 or 4 days before release, just waiting for it, and then something in our heads just went, actually, we should probably cancel it.
This is going to be a bad game.
I don't feel like it's going to be good enough considering all the stuff in the beta, so we cancelled it. And then as soon as it came out, all this crap about the nylon bags and the whole base and switch for the canvas bags and Bethesda's handling, and all of the bad bugs and patches. I mean, yesterday I think it was, they released a broken ultra wide patch for PC, and it's just like, oh my god, it's one thing after another. It's a snowball effect of mediocrity and pure just crap.
I remember the first thing that I heard about it was, okay, somebody broke the server by launching 2 nukes.
Three nukes.
And then I heard that, okay, getting nukes is piss easy because you can hack the game on PC because everything that's happening in that game is in a text file.
Yeah.
So you can literally kick people out of the server. Like, anyone can do that, and you can ban people from servers and do all this shit. Then I heard about this one guy who... Is this
the Fallout God?
Yeah, the Fallout God. He cannot die. And he's legitimately sad because he just cannot die. And he's like, someone please kill me? He
just keeps tweeting at Bethesda like, "Please kill me." Like, I really want to die. This game is not fun anymore. And like, he's just been like sort of walking into areas on the map, which I guess might be like hidden for DLC or whatever. But they're supposed to be like, if you walk into this area, then it's like an instant death. And he's just been walking around and like taking photos of himself in it. Like, it's just like, there's just photos of him doing like selfies in the area where you're supposed to do like instant die, because the game glitched out that his character is constantly on like -1 health, so he can never get to 0 health. So his character can't hit that like dead zero and die, because the game will only kick it in if he's got dead zero. I guess someone did enough damage that it went to like -1, and it was like, oh shit. And they won't kill him. Or they might have done now, but they wouldn't kill him.
Yeah. There was also that one thing about like there was no push to talk. I remember there was so if you guys know about the YouTube channel Cat,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a channel similar to it that did a video about Fallout 76, calling it a AAA $60 experience. And one of the creepiest things I saw on it was this guy was like, "Oh, okay, guys, end of the stream. I like that guy I was playing with. I'm gonna send him a friend request. I hope he gets it." And
Yeah.
he thought his microphone was off and everything. And the guy responds, "Yeah, I got it." And he's like, "Wait, you can hear me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "There's no push to talk, huh?" And there's still isn't a push to talk.
So they announced it in an update today, and they announced it like they were doing this big nice thing for everyone, and everyone was like, "That should have been in the game from the beginning. Like, what are you thinking? This should have been real basic stuff." And I've played. I mean, I've played it on PS4, and luckily I can just mute my microphone if I want to. I didn't at all times. Sometimes I just kind of forgot to mute it, and I was just walking around going, "Country roads," and like I'm trying to like sneak up on people, thinking my mic was muted, just get like singing "Country Roads" as I walk up behind them, like the creepiest fucking Jason Voorhees, just like who just sings "Country Roads" at you as he comes to murder you. So, did you guys see that? Apparently, the censored Deadpool is terrible.
Yeah. I'm kind of God.
The Merc with a mouth being censored. I mean, whose fucking idea was that?
Why did anyone think it was going to work to put someone who only works as an 18+ character in a bloody Disney film?
Yeah.
I mean, I do wonder if it's part of the whole Disney thing. I don't know if it is. I'm glad it didn't work. I'm really, really happy because it was a cash grab where they were just recutting a film, re-releasing it in the cinema, but recutting it in a shit way.
Is
Yeah.
this the Christmas one or the just they just censored everything and
So that's all the Christmas one is. It's just a censored version of Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's bullshit, basically.
Yeah. So they've tried to act like it's a new film, and people have gone to see it, and they've gone, "That's just all you've done is censor Deadpool 2, and you've made the Merc without a mouth not have a mouth, basically."
I can kind of respect that because they're like, okay, no, Deadpool 2 isn't going to make any more money soon. Let's censor it so it's PG-13 and kids can watch it and then make our last couple of bucks and run.
Unfortunately,
it's a cash grab.
Yeah, I can get it. I could understand if it was like if they did it with Venom, for example. If they removed some of the blood, they stopped Venom dropping the F-bomb, and they kind of released it again as a P12. I could understand that. Deadpool's whole reason for being is to be a foul-mouthed, horrible hypocrite, like mercenary, and he shouldn't have been censored. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I was like, I love money.
I like money.
I mean,
Well,
I
not
can
right.
see what they did.
Yeah, it's just not right.
Yeah.
A bit shitty, isn't it?
Oh, well.
But if you like money, then you'd probably really like Into the Spider-Man. That's the shittest like connection I've ever got. Like I couldn't think of anything else to get to the next little bit on my sheet.
Like, oh, have you ever heard of Money Spider?
Yeah. I could have gone for Money Spiders, but if you like money, you might like Into the Spider-Verse. Basically,
That worked.
it's incredible. I've added this in just because I wanted to say how amazing that film is. Like, it is everything I could ever want from a Spider-Man film. The animation all looks like it was drawn from a comic book. So there's even bits where he's thinking something and like a speech bubble appears above his head, and he's trying to like shoo it away, and like he's like, "Go away."
Mhm.
It's like self-aware as well. Then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Like it knows what it wants.
Is it by Sony Pictures Animation?
Yeah. Sony Pictures Animation did it.
Do amazing work. I'm not surprised it looks that way.
Oh yeah, like those guys are really good. It's funny because Sony Pictures can't make a movie, but Sony Pictures Animation just pump out like top-notch stuff.
Yeah, some of the highest quality animation you'll ever see.
Yeah, but it's just it's wow. I absolutely adore it, and
I need to go watch that.
I need to see it. I really need to see it.
It's the best Spider-Man film, and if anyone wants to go see it again, I'll happily go and see it. because it's too good. Right, I've gushed a bit about Spider-Verse and Deadpool now. It's time to let Joe have his little gush, or not,
yes.
as it may be. But you've actually played Kingdom Hearts 3.
I have, yes. I've actually got my hands on the real deal. Not the full game, obviously. I played the demo that was shown off to a lot of YouTubers earlier on in the year, over at EGX actually, earlier in the year. And I have to say, it's gotten me pretty damn hyped. I was very concerned going into it, sort of seeing all the pre-release material and hearing all the opinions from YouTubers and stuff, sort of seeing that this game has gone through such a big graphical change from sort of the very putty-ish days of 0.2 through to absolutely beautiful models in Kingdom Hearts 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
The combat, in the demo, even though this was quite a few months ago, still did feel quite a bit floaty, but it still feels like Kingdom Hearts. Basically.
Does it feel like 0.2? Because obviously that felt quite floaty.
It feels like 0.2 and perhaps 2 and a bit of Birth by Sleep had a baby, basically.
Yeah, okay.
It is very much the culmination of every mechanic and every single thing they've sort of worked on, tried to make it less of a jack of all trades and a master of none to a master of all trades. And yeah, it sort of works and it sort of doesn't in its own weird little microcosm.
Right.
Speaking more about recent things with Kingdom Hearts 3, though, the new opening recently got unveiled featuring Utada Hikaru and Skrillex, which was controversial to say the least.
I've done a 180 on it. I've watched it like 4 times, and I fucking love it now. I've done a complete 180.
Yeah,
I'm similar. I'm in a similar camp. I love the first half of it. Then the Skrillex beat drops, and I just hate it. I just go off of it completely after that whole drop. I don't know why.
Good. Like, I remember when I was younger, people used to put like videos of like Advent Children to like, some of your favourite songs.
Yeah.
Linkin Park.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, oh, this is really cool. It's like that, but it's the original video. For
Yeah,
me.
it makes sense. Yeah, I mean the animation and everything in it is absolutely wonderful, and there's a couple of theories here and there that have sprung up about Xehanort and everything about how the final battle will take place finally.
Yeah.
It's definitely a bit of a goldmine for us fans who have waited so long for this core entry in the series, and just to sort of see that last conclusion in this sort of
I feel like
mini.
it could be a 10 out of 10 game, but it's never going to live up to the hype we've built for it.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, for example, I'm expecting 13 final bosses. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not going to happen.
I would
Do you
quit
think-
it if it would happen.
Do you think the break's going to damage it? Like, I'm hyped. And I've gone back and replayed 1 and 2 and played Birth by Sleep for the first time this year to get myself hyped for it more.
Yeah.
And obviously, and us, all of us lot at Respawning who are into Kingdom Hearts as a whole are pretty hyped for it. But obviously, we live and breathe games and we talk about it every day. Do you think people who aren't aware won't just pick it up just because it looks like a Disney game now?
Yeah, it's going to be a weird one. I know Disney are promoting the hell out of it, and they're really getting into it. I mean, the problem is all of the side games and the iterative nature of the series. I mean, there's over 9 games to go back on, including Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, which, don't worry, we'll speak about in a minute. But it's a rabbit hole and a half to try and go into, and I feel there's going to be a lot of sort of casual gaming press, people like The Guardian, The Mirror, stuff like that, that will go into Kingdom Hearts 3 thinking, this is going to be an amazing Disney hack and slash game, and come out thinking, what the fuck did I just play?
Yeah,
Well, like for example, like going into like the casual market side of things, if you go to Disney World from tomorrow and Disneyland Paris, they've got whole areas of the shopping centre dedicated to Kingdom Hearts demos. So people that are just going to Disney World and Disneyland Paris can now pick it up and just do that. Javier, one for you. Christmas Day is the release of the Kingdom Hearts VR experience.
Ooh, that'd be good.
So Joe as well. You're on VR now.
Yeah, I'm on VR now.
So what you get is, so this will be really helpful for Javier more than Joe, I think, is that it's a free download from Christmas Day, And what it does is you can kind of like move around a little bit, blah blah blah. But essentially, it's an immersive look back. It's like some of the really memorable moments in the series. So you can get like you can basically get a chance to go through any of the games you missed. So for you, for example, like Dream Drop Distance and 0. 0.2, you can just watch like the VR stuff about it as well. And I think I might be wrong, but there are sections of the game where you can have the Keyblade in hand and play like VR that way around. So I think you can do like a VR Keyblade experience.
Well,
That's pretty good.
My family get like, have dinner's ready. I'm like, I'm in another world.
Yeah.
Just lost. I was going to do all of them this year. For whatever reason, I think partly because I was like playing other games, but it took me a whole year just to do like 1 and 2. And I got Birth by Sleep in it like a couple months ago. And then I was like, I'm not really prepared for a couple of games that are considered to be average when I can playing stuff like Spider-Man and Red Dead and etc. You know what I mean? So I was like, I haven't got another, alongside these big games, I haven't got another 100 hours to spare. So I want to watch like a load of catch-up videos, which it's fine, but I know that the diehards are like, what are you doing?
I think that Dream Drop Distance is best experienced in a catch-up video.
Yeah, definitely, I would agree. It's a good-ish game, and it's got some fun boss fights, some fun plot elements, but it's nothing you can't grasp from just watching the cutscenes.
It's kind of boring as well. 0.2, I think, is worth playing.
It drags off.
Like Dream Drop Distance is the only one I've really missed, isn't it? Like, main game.
Yeah, I guess, because as long as you've played like 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep, you'll get the idea.
Pretty much.
Certain elements of free. I mean, no one's really going to get the idea, but like certain elements of like 358 over 2 days are going to be quite key, I think.
I see what you did there.
Hey! I was like, nobody's laughing. Shit! I've misdirected this joke. It's not worked.
In terms of the essentials, though, I think the one thing that Nomura has done, which is probably the biggest mistake, is tying Union Cross into the plot of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
There are a lot of videos to catch up on. There are hundreds and hundreds of hours of content to just watch.
So I actually don't know what that is.
That's the mobile game.
Oh, right, yeah. Why do they feel that they have to tie everything into it?
It's weird.
It's Nomura's expanded universe, basically. He's kind of like using it as a platform to just go into Disney as much as he wants to, as much as he can.
It's weird as well because it explains so many little plot threads and plot holes as well that happen between the games. I mean, for instance, Kingdom Hearts 1, Maleficent gets destroyed. Kingdom Hearts 2, she's back. What happened in that time between there? UX explains it. What happened with the original Keyblade wielders, the first Keyblade War? UX explains it. What happened with Xehanort and Ericus? UX will probably explain it. And it's annoying because we've seen in trailers these little creatures, the Chirithes, that are referenced so much and so key to UX, are going to be a part of Kingdom Hearts 3 and are going to interact with Sora and be a part of the main plot. And that just confuses the hell out of me because it just doesn't feel like this much content in this sort of application. It just doesn't translate well into a sort of sit-down console game where fans and hardcore fans and casual fans alike have been told, oh, just watch the movie that comes with the collection and you'll be fine. No, you will not be fine. You need to play the mobile game to catch up.
Yeah, like the back cover story on its own, it gives you about an hour. It's an hour on 2.8?
I think it's an hour and a half.
And it doesn't really explain very much.
No. It just tells you about the foretellers and the Chirithes.
Yeah.
So I'm of the opinion where I've just given up on figuring out Kingdom Hearts lore, and I play 3 and have fun and then leave it because I love Kingdom Hearts so much. Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, but at this point, like, Nomura dropped the ball with that story, man. I
feel like me and Joe are kind of through diving to the lore, though, have sort of ruined the experience for ourselves.
I'll agree.
Do you think that you have to know all of it?
No.
No, I don't think
It's
so.
not like, I'm from, like, for example, when you're reading a comic book series, and they always have like 400 tie-in, but you don't need to read all those additional comics. Like, for example, if Batman's got a run, you don't need to go and read Batwoman because she's in like one scene.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
It's similar. So there are aspects of UX that do need to be understood to perhaps fully understand Kingdom Hearts 3's story. Things like the black box, which Maleficent and Pete are searching for, the Book of Prophecies that's referenced and recoded and expanded on further in UX, things like the Foretellers, the Master of Masters, Chirithes. It's all of the base concepts, really, that you need to really understand, not any of the finer details. It's more so the finer details fix a lot of the plot threads and sort of satiate your curiosity, so to speak,
Yeah.
with, sort of what happened to this character at this point sort of situations, or what happened with this sort of thing. And also, if you just want to see some really balls-to-the-wall stuff like, oh, why is Ventus like 1,000 years in the past? I don't understand. I don't get it. Nomura, please help me.
Yeah. Problem is as well is I'm not going to be, I'm going to miss out on that experiencing. I'm not going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3 from release date, so I'm going to kind of have to go a bit dark on social medias for it.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch Kingdom Hearts at all because of Resident Evil.
Yeah, exactly. Literally 4 days out before that is the Resident 2 remake, and that is way higher on my list of games I'm hyped for than Kingdom Hearts. Only because, and I think it's partly due just because I didn't think it would ever happen. I never thought we'd actually get the Resident Evil 2 remake, and from what I've seen, I never thought we'd get a Resident Evil 2 remake that's this high quality. Like, it's nuts.
It looks so good.
Like, they've not just done the sort of like the original storyline, but they've kind of like blended stuff together. They've made it so that it's using the Resi 7 engine.
That's cool.
Good.
So one of the reasons why remake then, yeah?
Sorry, yeah, the Resi 2 remake, yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be decent though.
Oh yeah, man. Like, watch a couple of. I'll send you some YouTube video or something to watch, like the Prepare to Try one, and it just looks absolutely terrifying and insane. You can you get knives in it as per any Resident Evil game, but they've made it so knives are really useful. So you can like hack off someone's arm, leg, and whatever you want. Like, or just you can hack. So where you hit them with a knife, that's where it will hack off. So you won't just hit them in the arm and their whole arm will fall off. Every pixel is interlocked into the tendons, almost. Yeah. So it's really brutal and really hardcore, but it just looks absolutely top notch. Like,
here's a question as well. Will the Resi 2 remake have any VR components? Because I know that Resi 7, with its VR release, was probably one of the best-selling PSVR titles to date.
It's probably the best VR game I would have played.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if there's no element in the Resi 2 remake just to sort of cash in on that. There's a big in PSVR horror.
It's gonna be a VR update or DLC a couple months later on, but I don't think for release.
You think about all the extra development they'd have to do.
Capcom have turned around and said, don't expect VR mode for Resident Evil 2.
Oh, okay, that's a shame.
Only because, and this is probably the main key thing, Resident Evil 2 is played in third person.
Yeah.
True.
Not first person, so that hinders you straight off the bat.
Yeah, but they could do an Evil Within thing where they can make a first person mode or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, they did it with Red Dead. They just built in a first person mode as well. So I don't see why not.
The reason why Resident Evil 2 looks so good is just because the reason why the original remake is so universally recognized as the best remake ever made. It's because they're not just remaking it from the ground up. They're changing stuff around drastically. So if you're like my brother is Resident Evil 2 is his favorite Resident Evil of all time. So
yeah, me too.
If you show him a trailer of Resident Evil 2, the remake, he's gonna be like, oh, this is that room, but this thing is different here, and
Yeah.
that's not where that's supposed to be. So even he's like, oh my god, what the fuck are they gonna do? Like, I'm gonna have to like figure out the entire game again. And I'm like, isn't that great? Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah,
That's
that makes me unbelievably hype. I can't wait.
Yeah, same.
Like, I honestly, I'm gonna be deep in that Resident Evil game.
Deep zombie
Should be good.
sludge.
So, I'm gonna blend these last couple bits in a little bit. Firstly, Just Cause 4. It's a simple question. Does anyone even care anymore?
No.
Like, it's pretty unanimously across the board. Like, we've got things like GTA 5. We've got Spider-Man. We don't need Just Cause anymore. It needs. I think
Is
it's.
it out?
Yeah, man, it's out. That's exactly.
That's your fucking question.
Yeah, that's my point.
I stopped caring the moment I saw a bus advert that only had "This game is awesome, Jacksepticeye" on the side of the bus. That's the moment I knew.
Yeah.
Okay, Just Cause
It's
isn't really in
garbage.
my demographic
Garbage.
anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not really a Just Cause fan anyway, but I played 3 because it was free.
Mhm.
And even though it was 3, I played for a maximum of an hour. And I
Yeah.
was like, a bit like Saints Row, it's just a bit too silly for me. Like, I know GTA is silly, but at least there are serious elements and the gameplay.
Thing is, at
ridiculous.
least with Saints Row, it had the good gameplay to back it up.
Yeah.
Like-
The thing with GTA as well, though, is that you can create your own silliness. Whereas Just Cause, it's very much you have to be stupid with the chaos. You have to be abstract. You have to think outside the box. There's no default sort of, okay, I'm going to play this semi-realistically. I'm going to drive all the cars. I'm going to, get my guns normally, all that sort of stuff. Nah, hell no. You have to get your grappling hook. You have to tow that massive oil tanker
Yeah,
over.
absolutely.
And you have to paraglide off the side of a mountain whilst the explosion happens in the background going, hell yeah, motherfuckers, and then just crash into the floor. That's Just Cause.
Pretty much. I mean, if you want to play Just Cause 4, play Just Cause 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically.
or what was it Joe said the other day? Just Cause 4 is Just Cause 3.5.
Yeah,
Just Cause 3
exactly.
is Just Cause 2.8.
Yeah.
They're all the same shit. I mean, you could say the same for a lot of games, but it definitely is like, right, let's just put it in a different situation. Oh, this time we've got tornadoes. It's like the fucking Sharknado films. Oh,
Yeah.
it's sharks, but this time they're in an avalanche.
Yeah.
Just drop distance.
This time it's Sharknado on ice.
Exactly.
Oh dear. So we'll finish it up with something nice and Christmassy, because we say we'll be back in 2 weeks, but we'll probably all be hungover and Christmassy because it will literally be the 27th. So there's not a chance that we'll be back within 2 weeks. We will be back soon. But
We will be back
does
soon.
anyone have anything on their Christmas lists, game or nerdy wise, or anything that they really want?
Just quickly, got to just plug something here.
Yeah.
We did recently do a really, really well. Joe, to be honest, did a really great article, just about if what you want to buy your fellow nerd, your lovely nerd at home, you haven't got them all their gifts. You want to get them a stocking present, or you want to spend all your life savings on them. Just check out the Respawning Christmas wish
It's the
list.
definitive Christmas guide.
You will need to go nowhere else.
And
Anyway.
if you do go there, then and you buy something from the article, we do get a cut from Amazon, which means we can carry on chatting shit in your ears.
Hey,
So
brilliant.
it's a win-win
nice and
situation.
organised. Well.
We're okay.
It's all nice and organised into 4 different tiers as well for any price point, from £1 up to over 60, up towards 120. I think the most expensive thing on there is like 375 quid. But
Is that a Nintendo Switch by any chance?
no, I think that's Xbox One X. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't want that for Christmas.
That if you're not gonna buy that, at least appreciate the Photoshop job I did for that thumbnail, because
It was amazing.
It is incredible. So my wish list, and I don't know if I'm getting one, is Switch. I didn't want a Switch. I know you guys know me. In the last year I've kind of done an about turn. I feel like a bit like Luke, really. Like originally I was like, no, like PlayStation's all. Plus I got the VR, so I'm like, I've got 2 kind of consoles. I don't need a third one. And then like Let's Go came out, and it was like on top of Zelda and
Marvel.
Mario and Marvel's coming out, and it's just like more. They're getting more and more games to live. And originally there was 2 games that I want to play. I could say there are easily 6, 7 games I get on release day, and for me that's worth having a console.
Yeah.
Plus, they're going to keep adding stuff. And if there's like some sort of Marvel exclusive rights, and I am like the biggest Marvel fanboy, I can't not play those games. So for me, my main thing is if I don't get a Switch, I'm going to get it in January sales without a doubt.
Let's put it this way: my Switch catalog of physical games is nearly double the size of my Wii U collection
Well,
already.
I'm with Hav on this. Like, the Switch is top of my Christmas list. I do know I already have one. I'm just not allowed it until Christmas / my birthday. But that is top of my list because I remember there was a respawning specific Nintendo Switch Facebook chat group, which I made you guys go into because I was fucking sick of hearing about the Switch. And I went in, I got into it one day because I was like, Joe, I want to talk about the Switch. And all I put in all capital letters was Nintendo Switch is for children. And then I left the group. And yeah, now I'm like really hyped to get my hands on one. I really can't wait. I'm so hyped for it. If they release Spider-Man again ever, or any kind of Spider-Man on the Switch, now that Marvel seems to be doing some Switch exclusive stuff, I will. Oh, I could leave my house, couldn't I? I could literally go to the pub with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I could play it at work. I could play it on the bus. I could play it at work. That's what I love. Like at the moment, I'm playing an emulator. Imagine playing the bloody proper Pokemon
Yeah.
game. Like,
You can play it on the shitter.
So there's a lot of sell, and I don't know. Like I said, it's turned me around massively.
Yeah, same. Joe, what about you? What are you hoping for Christmas? I know you've already got your VR for Christmas.
I've already got PSVR. In terms of Christmas list, lots of lovely numbskull merch.
Yeah.
I kid. Ryan, if you listen to this, I love you. No, I don't know really. I'm kind of hoping for a PS4 Pro as I unfortunately missed out on a couple of the Black Friday deals, but really hoping for something like that. Sort of upgrade my experience because my poor old launch PS4 is finally on its last legs, dying unfortunately. Other than that, I don't quite know. Maybe Let's Go Pikachu. I've already got Smash Bros, so not that. I don't know. Just more awesome Switch games.
Brilliant. I know what Salmon wants for Christmas. He wants a Capcom announcement that Devil May Cry 5 is going to come out early.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, wait. Let me think. I want a pony. And okay, no, but for real though, I just want more stuff for my Switch. I know this is a very Switch-oriented Christmas wish list thing going on right now, but
The Switch is hype now.
The Switch is super hype, and
It's super hype.
especially for degenerates like me who love like disgusting anime games on their handhelds, just like the Vita. I want a couple games. I want the Missing JJ Macfield, which is a Swery game. If you know about Swery64, who made Deadly Premonition, and this other really cool JRPG called Deathmark, which is I don't know. It's just like a horror-themed JRPG. It looks really sick, and I just want that.
I've
But
seen a
other
few
than
things about Deathmark. I'm pretty hyped for it. Like it looks really cool.
Yeah, I just need to save up money for it. But other than that, I need new Joy-Cons because mine are busted. Because let me break it down for you boys. The Switch isn't all that good. The fucking Joy-Cons are a travesty at times because mine are really fucked up for no reason. I take very good care of my Switch. So at one point, the right analog stick started drifting. And what I had to do is I had to buy a can of compressed air to blow like weird gunk out that accumulated. But
Was it semen?
So all them anime games.
It was semen, wasn't it? We do keep sending him like hentai games.
We know what the weird gunk was.
Oh no! But
Don't kink shame him.
but yeah, so that fixed it for a bit, and then just after a while, like I tried doing it again because it came up again, and yeah, no, it doesn't fix it. So I'm stuck with fucked up Joy-Cons until I get new ones. So that's number one on my Christmas list.
Excellent. I can't believe how much of a Nintendo Switch fan club this suddenly became. Like,
If I
out
don't
of
get one,
nowhere.
it's going to be horrifying.
You're going to be absolutely distraught.
I know. I'll buy one in January if I don't get one for Christmas.
Yeah,
So.
do it.
The other thing I want to get away from Switch and all that, I do want to get Assassin's Creed. So I probably will borrow it from Luke at some point. But if I got it for Christmas, I wouldn't be upset.
It's so good, man. You're going to love it.
Yeah, I love it. I think I've played all of them apart from the one that was about the Templars.
Yeah. Oh, Rogue's my favorite. My second favorite.
So like I do really love it. So that's definitely something I would love to get.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Right, I have got to go. But it's been a fantastic first episode of the Respawning podcast. And so we'll be back in a few weeks. We'll have Christmas, get that over and done with, and we'll be back.
Hopefully not with the first episode.
Hopefully not with the first episode in about 6 or 7 months' time. But yeah, we should kick off again soon. Peace.
Cool.
Like and subscribe,
Thanks very much for listening. Bye bye.